So I know that it's popular with much of the Trumpist right, and even actually with some people on the left, to pretend that there was never any Russia story, to do revisionist history. But of course, sensible people know that that's not the case. There was a Russia story, it just never was, nor did we expect it to be. Video evidence of Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin personally colluding and planning things, or whatever the case may be. But we've seen Trump do everything from notify Russia in advance that they'd be bombing a runway in Syria, leading to that runway being cleared and then bombed, and then, of course, reoperational within a few hours, to Donald Trump pulling troops from Syria exactly in line with what it is that Russia would want, to everything in between in those 2 years, between those two events. We don't have to revisit everything today. But now we have, once again, just another little incident, another data point in the Russia story, because we have now learned, and it is being really confirmed by Donald Trump, that Donald Trump notified Russians before our own congressional leaders that he planned to go after ISIS leader Abu Bakr Al-Baghdadi over the weekend. This was a huge news weekend, and we're going to have so many different things to talk about. But one of the things that happened is that al-Baghdadi killed himself, killed himself. You know, this, right? I guess it depends technically how you want to describe it or what you think is most important about the narrative. Al-Baghdadi is or was an ISIS leader. The military went after him in a raid clearly meant to tamp down some of the very much deserved criticism of Donald Trump for the potential resurgence of ISIS as a result of Donald Trump's decision to completely haphazardly and counter to all military advice, pull American troops from northern Syria a couple of weeks ago. The details are that al-Baghdadi died after igniting a suicide vest that he was wearing, killing not only himself, but three of his children. I mean, the sick nature of all of this is truly stunning. Now, there were lots of theatrics involved, not only in Donald Trump's speech about what took place, but also in Donald Trump's supposed Situation Room photo while the operation was taking place. But I'm going to get to that a little bit later. It deserves analysis on its own. So if we remove ourselves completely from the history with Russia that Trump has and just pretend this is a normal president, typically presidents will inform our own congressional leaders, regardless of whether they're Democrats and leaders are Republicans or vice versa, or the same party, whatever the case may be, when there is a high-level military operation. For example, when President Obama went after Osama bin Laden, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi would have been, whoever was Speaker at the time, was it Boehner at the time or Paul Ryan? Now I don't remember. Congressional leaders were notified in advance that this was going to be going on. We now heard, in this case, from Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, that the Russians were notified in advance of the attack, but congressional leadership, like Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, was not. Donald Trump allegedly told two Republicans, Richard Burr and, of course, Lindsey Graham, Looney Lindsey, about the planned attack. Donald Trump confirms that he didn't tell Nancy Pelosi, saying, quote, "No, I didn't. I didn't do that. I wanted to make sure this kept secret. I don't want to have men lost and women. I don't want to have people lost." Now, there is a lot to unpack just in that statement. I don't want to dig too far into it, but, Trump implying that if he were to tell Nancy Pelosi, all of a sudden it would leak. I don't know of any history of Nancy Pelosi leaking plans for sensitive military engagement or anything like that. It's absolutely disgusting to insult the Speaker of the House in this way, absent any evidence, but let's not dwell on that because there's much more to discuss. Once again, all roads lead to Russia and Putin, and Trump admits this. Trump bragged about it. Trump said, "We spoke to the Russians. We told them we are coming in, and they said, thank you for telling us. We were going to notify congressional leaders last night, but we decided not to do that." Okay? This is not hypothetical. This is not speculative. This is Trump saying, "I told Richard Burr and Lindsey Graham. I told the Russians. I decided not to tell congressional leadership." So to go back to Donald Trump's idea, once again, that Nancy Pelosi might somehow compromise the mission for some reason that he can't defend with facts. When Barack Obama went after Osama bin Laden, he didn't tell Pakistan. because telling them might have compromised the operation. And after the fact, Leon Panetta, who was the defense secretary at the time, explained why that was done for operational security. You keep knowledge within U.S. borders, if not physically, metaphorical borders. Who knows what is in the works needs to be kept compartmentalized, but leadership needs to know, right? But Trump continues in this completely ridiculous way, acting like everything is being done either for the approval of, or even worse, at the direction of Vladimir Putin. And it's not conspiratorial. I mean, listen, we know the Russian military is on the ground in Syria. Knowing in advance that the United States is going to be doing this allows them to know here's an opportunity to potentially observe elements of the operation or movements or signals intelligence that we, now knowing that this operation is taking place, we can start building our understanding, the Russians can, of the methods and systems that are used by the United States. It's just a national security threat. That's all that it is. And Donald Trump, sadly, due to scandal fatigue, Donald Trump probably will not get the attention he deserves over this, negative attention, that is. But it's the continuing trend of putting our troops and our systems and our intelligence operatives at risk. And it appears that much of this has been theater, staged to make Donald Trump look good. And the way that Donald Trump, listen, after this took place, Donald Trump's absolutely deluded, narcissistic, I don't even know what words to apply to it, speech about what took place, wanting to be Obama, right? For all the disdain Trump has Obama, that was a speech he gave, I'm not going to play any of it for you, where he wants to be like Obama, making absurd claims like he's the one who recognized the danger of Osama bin Laden before anybody else, because he mentioned him in a list of like 50 things that are not good in the 90s or something like that, saying that getting al-Baghdadi is bigger than getting Osama bin Laden. I mean, it's like we can argue about each of these things on the merits, but that's not even the point. The point is this is diarrhea of the mouth from someone who just can't help themselves in making everything about themselves and how they look. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about next with regard to this absolutely ridiculous Situation Room photo.